Hello and welcome to this video. If you're new here, my name is Marta and today I'm super excited because yesterday I just got my Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette in the mail. I bought it at Beauty Bay for, in Norwegian, it's 425, but I had a discount for 100 Norwegian kroner. I think it's about $10. As you can see, it's a very gorgeous cardboard packaging here, and then you can like slip out the palette like this, and then you can see the whole palette. Needless to say, it's a gorgeous packaging on this palette. It has a lot of beautiful golden details all over it. When you open the palette, it's also super gorgeous. It has a lot of purples, it has a couple of green shades. I really love this teal shade, and yeah, I just really think it's a beautiful color story, even though I would have probably used a super dark brown that was like neutral or cool toned, just so I could have deepened up both the green shades, the blue shades here, and the purple shades here. But that's just my preference, so I do understand that there are browns here, just because most beauty influencers are very like set on making palettes that can be used for every day, and obviously that's neutral shades that people use every day. I don't. I use makeup like this whenever I want, usually every time I wear makeup. Lately I haven't really had time to do my eyeshadow, but when I do use a lot of colors. So I do think it's nice that it's mostly colorful shades in this palette, which is why I decided to try out Lunar Beauty for the first time. It goes very well with the theme of witches. I've heard people saying that it's not a Halloween-y palette, but honestly, if you think of witches, I bet you do think of purple and green shades. And I do love that it's called after, like all of the shades are named after pop culture witches, like from the Charmed series. It's like Piper, Prue, Paige and Phoebe, and then we have Sabrina, we have some other from American Horror Story, and yeah, it's just a lot of cool names for this palette, so I think that it's very well thought out. So I will just go straight into the swatches of this palette, and then I will be doing this look that I have on right here, so just continue watching if you want to see those things. So I'm just going to start from this side and then go like this. Okay, so this is the shade Prue, then we have the shade Piper, which is more of a satin shade, and then it's the shade Phoebe, which, if you can see, it's, I think that both of these are like duochrome shades. This one has a lot of like cool toned purple or almost blue sparkles in it, and this one just reminds me of some of the shades from the Divina Exploders collection. I don't really own any of them, but both the formula and the look of it seems to be more like a topper shade, just like those shades. So that's the first shades, Prue, Piper and Phoebe. The next shades are Paige, Sabrina and Winifred, and all of these are matte shades. We have Sabrina, which is the dark purple one that we have here in the middle, which I also used on my eye look today, and it was super pigmented and beautiful. And this shade Paige I also used to almost use it as a transition for my look, and it's also very pigmented and performed very well. And then I used the shade Winifred for my lower lash line. It was a bit more kick-uppy than the others, but also super pigmented. Here we have the shade Sarah, which is a mauvey neutral shade, which is relatively light. Then we have the shade Mary, which is a cool toned, sparkly shimmer shade, which leans a little bit more brown. Then we have Samantha here, which is a way more warm toned. It's almost, I feel like it has several different shades running throughout it in the shimmers, but I don't know if it's really possible to see it right here, but it's a very beautiful shade, and I was very positively surprised by both of these. because I thought they were just going to be like regular boring neutral shades, but I do feel like they are very beautiful. Next up are the shades Kiki, which is a darker brown matte. Then we have the shade here, which is Hermione, which is an interesting gold shimmer shade, which is also quite sparkly. And then we have Bonnie, which is one of my favorite shades in this palette. It's sort of like a warm lime green shade, and it's a matte, as you can see. Then we have the last three shades of the palette. This is the shade that is called Marnie. Then we have the shade Nancy and the shade Fiona. So Marnie is obviously a sort of military medium green. Then we have the shade Nancy, which is more of a teal shade. Didn't swatch very well, but I feel like it performed quite well on my eye. And then it's the shade Fiona, which is sort of like a super dark teal, almost greeny shimmer shade, but it's more like a satin shimmer instead of like a super foiled shimmer. So these are all of the different shades. I don't think I have very much more to add to it. I really do love this color scheme. It has a lot of beautiful purple shades, and of course my favorite row of colors are the last row, because it has so many gorgeous green shades and teal shades, and yeah, I just really love those kinds of shades. So yeah, these are the swatches. So now that we have the swatches done, I will just jump straight into how I achieved this look using this palette for the first time. I'll be going into this shade called Bonnie, and I will just blend out the teal shade that I have in my inner corner crease. And I did go in with the shade Sarah, and it was way more neutral than what I have thought, so that's why I made this sad face. But I just covered it up a little bit with the shade Page, yeah, the shade Page, and then it got a little bit more vibrant again. So at least the shades are blending really seamlessly, so I'm really happy with that. And I get to try out very many shades right now. And I don't want this shade Bonnie to blend way too much in here, because that's just gonna give me a very muddy shade. So I guess it's fine to have a neutral or more neutral shade than the purples here, just so that this won't get too muddy. And it does really look like a grungy green, so I'm really happy about that. Just imagine only using the teal shade called Nancy with Bonnie, or maybe a little bit with Marnie, the green, deeper green shade. I think that would be really beautiful. I'm just going to go in a little bit more with the shade Nancy, the teal one, just because I covered it a bit with the green shade Bonnie. Since the shimmer shades seem to be very sparkly, I'm just going in with my BH Cosmetics Base Booster and trying to add a thin layer of this all over my lid where I want the shimmers to be. Now I'll just be taking the shade Phoebe and then the shade Prue, which is the lighter one here, and I will just add the deeper shimmer in my outer crease. Then I'm going to add the lighter shimmer proof for my inner crease or inner lid. It's kind of hard to pick it up on the brush, but it looks to be a very gorgeous shimmer, a duochrome shimmer. It has really amazing blue sparkles to it. These shimmers are looking so gorgeous. I will just be adding some eyeliner and do my other eye, then I'll do my face makeup, and then I'll be back to do my lower lash line. I just finished off my face makeup and now I'm going in with the shade Winifred for my lower lash line, and then I'm going to use a little bit of the shade Samantha, which is the more reddish purple shimmer shade, and I'll just apply the shade Samantha on top. Winifred is quite powdery, comes a lot of kick up when I dip my brush into it, but it's also very pigmented, so just so you're aware that it's got a lot of kick up, and that you have to be aware of the fallout that you're gonna get. And for the rest of my face makeup, I ended up using Looxi beauty highlighters. I used the shade Ever After first, which I used sort of as a base, and then I used the other Looxi Beauty shadow in the shade White Noise, which is more of almost a white to pink duochrome, but it's a little bit warm almost, and it's a lot more icy, so I just really liked how that looked. And that's also the shade that I ended up using for my inner corner. I really like how these warmer shades for my lower lash line just ended up tying together the eye look a little bit with the lip gloss that I'm wearing, which is the shade Dumpling by Colourpop. It's the ultra glossy lip. So I also feel like I got to use a lot of the different shades in the palette, and I really seem to like them this far. So I'm really curious to use the rest of the shades that I didn't use today. So now that I've gotten all of the fallout, I will just zoom you in and show you the finished look a little bit better. This is my finished look with this palette. I really enjoy it, and I think all of the shades that I used performed very well. I did hear that the teal shade called Nancy, that people had problem with it being not so pigmented, but personally I feel like it showed up like the color that it looks like in the pan on my eye using my Makeup Revolution concealer as base. So I didn't have that problem, so maybe it has to do with the base you use. But all in all, I really enjoyed this palette. I feel like the shimmers are so gorgeous because they're super sparkly, which is like my favorite thing. So I just wish that maybe this gorgeous dark teal shimmer also was sparkly, because this is more of like a metallic or satin shade instead, more like a foiled shade, not like these others that are like, that have micro shimmers or glitters in them, which I obviously really love. But yeah, I really like the color story, and I cannot wait to try making more looks with both the greens and the purples, making monochromatic looks and making a mixture of looks with the greens and the purples. Is this palette maybe on your wish list, or do you already have it? Do you like it in that case? I think it's a gorgeous palette, and I would recommend it. So I guess that's all for this video. I hope you liked it and you liked the look that I came up with. Please comment down below what you think of it, and give the video a thumbs up if you want to see more content like this, and yeah, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!